Heading into Week 7, I'm Dustin. Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. This is your Week 7 waiver wire. Kind of a quiet week overall, but as always, after a week of NFL football, there's plenty to talk about. So I keep this in mind. I rank these in order on how I would pick them up. They're all available in my league based on 0.5 PPR, and I do shoot this before the Monday night game. And I always start with my pickup of the week, kind of guy that I think is going to get a lot of attention, so there has to be some low ownership because he's going to get picked up in a ton of leagues. And it's brought to you by FanDuel. If you haven't gotten into our Beat the Experts game yet, click the link in the description or go to FanDuel.com/FST. If you win the cash like you normally do, and you get the top two will get a free entry, and then the following week's Sunday Million, which is a $9 game. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't signed up for FanDuel, click the link and sign up, deposit. It helps us out. But my pick of the week this week is Marlin Mack. You know, if you've been watching this show, you know that I like this guy. You know that I think he's the most versatile all-around player in terms of complete running back on that Colts team. You know, Hines is a very good player, but I just think Mack has the better overall potential in fantasy. He out-touched Hines 13-5, averaged 7.4 yards per carry. He looks to be healthy. I don't expect huge things from him, but on that offense, he could get some goal line carries. He could have success some weeks, and I do think he will be the most consistent running back out there. Marlin Mack, he's my pickup of the week. Other running backs, Clement for Philly. It's going to be a mess out there, especially when Sproles comes back. I have Sproles a little lower on this list, but I think they'll take turns. I think they'll all get touches. I think it'll be very hard to predict who will have the best week from week to week, but I do think they all have value, and they should be owned in a lot more leagues. Clement's only on 60% of leagues, found the end zone week 6. Peyton Barber looked a lot better. Week 6, he had looked pretty terrible all season. It looked like we might see more Jones moving forward, but Barber played well enough where I think he needs to get picked up in more leagues, only on in 35% of leagues. And then Dalvin Cook owners, pick up Murray. I mean, the guy looked great week 6. I know they've had a hard time getting their running game going, but I just think just for security, just lock up that Minnesota running back position. You know, hopefully you've gotten through your buys a little bit where you maybe have a roster spot to do it. But I think Murray should be owned in more leagues. I want to talk about Duke Johnson with Cleveland. You know, Cleveland was smart. If Cleveland was smart, they'd find more and more ways to get this guy involved. He is too good to not be touching the ball. They did that a little bit week 6, and I think they'll continue to do it, especially PPR leagues. I think Duke Johnson gets back on the map. Rashad Penny with Seattle. You know I like this guy, and you know I'm a believer. You know, he got a lot of his touches in garbage time when the game was pretty much over, but he did get involved earlier in the game as well. Averaged almost 5 yards per carry, had 2 catches for 27 yards. They brought this guy in to be their running back of the future, and I think if he gets his shot, he could take that job and not look back. I know Carson and Davis have looked pretty good, but Penny is a very good running back. And Foreman, just time to get him on your radar. He might not be back this week, but he will be back very soon. Wide receiver, Taylor Gabriel, Chicago's offense. I don't think it was a fluke. You know, before their bye, they looked amazing. Gabriel, 2 straight games of 100 plus. He is a great addition to that team. I think he will have some more big games. Chris Godwin, still only on 45% of leagues. I do not understand that. He has a touchdown in every game but one so far this year. Pick him up if he's available. More I want to talk about with Seattle. He's really stepping up out there. 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. They do have their bye week 7, so keep that in mind. But I do like more heading forward for the second half of the season after their bye. Miami, Albert Wilson and Grant out there. Wilson, monster week 6, and we know that he can do it. We know he's explosive, but him and Grant, I think, will have some more big games. They're going to have low floors, but their ceilings are as high as they go. Willie Snead I want to talk about. Only on 10% of leagues. The guy just keeps having above average weeks, but he's not getting respected in terms of his ownership. Only 10% owned. You know, he had another 7 catches for 60 yards last week. He got a nice matchup against the Saints week 7, so I think he could be a decent guy to pick up and play for you. Again, it's just the floor is so nice with him. He's not going to, blow up and get you 20 points, but he's not going to get you 0 either, so I feel like he should be owned in more leagues because of that. Then Beasley and Williams, 2 touchdowns each for these guys. You know, what you see is what you get, I think, with them. You know, you look at their game logs, you look at their stats, they're going to be all over the place, but the potential is there for big games, so keep that in mind. if you're just looking for a guy for a high upside, if you got bye weeks or something like that. And then Kirk for Arizona. Starting to get, pretty consistently involved in that offense. He's averaged about 80 yards last 2 games. Does have a touchdown. So there's a lot of rookie receivers that are making noise out there. But Kirk only on 15% of leagues. I think, as that offense, slowly gets better, slowly gets more on the same page with a lot of their young players, I think they could get better. Quarterback, got to talk about Trubisky. Another great game for this guy. I'm excited to see that they're getting him more involved in the running game, which is why I have Dak on this list as well. I think, both those quarterbacks, if the defense have to, keep an eye on them for maybe running, I think it really helps open up the field for them. And I think they will continue to do that because it worked really well for them week 6. So Trubisky and Dak I like. And then Winston, monster game, came out off after the bye, had a great game. I think it puts him back on the map. It's his job. Fitzmagic is officially over if it wasn't already in your heads. Winston, he's got weapons on that offense. He could have a good season from here on out. Tight end, O.J. Howard, dropped in a ton of leagues because it looked like he was dealing with a multi-week injury. Came back, though, had a touchdown, had a good game, only on 55% of leagues. Now I want to talk about with C.J. Uzomah for Cincinnati. 8 catches over the last 2 weeks, 8 catches total. So he's definitely proving to be the tight end to own with Eifert out there. So he's someone that could have some value. Pick up and play defenses. Want to talk about Denver, only on 45% of leagues. They're at Arizona. Has not been a good year for Denver's defense, fantasy-wise and in real football. But you got to think they'll have some success at Arizona, going up against the rookie quarterback. Don't mind them. Then Buffalo's defense at Indy. Indy just keeps turning the ball over. Luck's making some bad decisions. They're going to put up some points in this game, I feel. But Buffalo's defense looked solid week 6. And I think even at Indy, they should have some success, even though I think they will give up a decent amount of points. You got to think there'll be at least 1 or 2 turnovers. So that's the Week 7 waiver wire. Leave some comments. Josh will be picking questions straight from the comments in this video for his show, The Flex, later in the week. Make sure to list if it's standard or PPR. Give us a thumbs up. Give us some comments on people that you think should be on this list that weren't on the list. And good luck on the wire this week.